everybody, this is Peggy, hijacking Lisa's channel again. I think I've just used the word hijack like for the 5,000th time.
You can use it every time if you want to. It's your video.
I probably will now, just because I can.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our third pick a card reading where I will tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. I hope you guys have been enjoying this so far.
Always so ominous.
Everybody's unsubscribed. It's like, okay. Anyway, so, and Lisa and I were just chatting because after we made the last one, we kind of got chatting and realized that we never actually pointed out to anybody how we are doing this, because I'm a super noob and I'm not going to pretend that I'm not a super noob. These readings are mine. They are my own interpretations. But what we do is we shuffle everything, get everything ready to go. These are legitimate, honest. I think there's a card shuffle that is starting off this one. We are doing that normally, but what we're doing is before we start the video, we are taking a few quick moments to just jot down a few quick things so that I have an opportunity to double check on the meanings of the cards, make sure that I'm not making hideous and horrendous mistakes, and then I interpret the cards from there so that at the end of the day, you're getting a legitimate reading out of this and not just me spouting bullshit. just to
spout bullshit.
Well, okay. I'll be spouting bullshit, but based on an actual card interpretation that Lisa has assisted me with to make sure that I am not making fundamental mistakes that I shouldn't be making, because I am not going to pretend to have a level of skill that I don't have. And we realized that we never did a full disclosure piece in either of the previous two videos. So 3 months in, here it is now.
Here's your belated disclaimer.
Here's your belated disclaimer. So, this is mostly for fun, partly for a learning experience for me, a professional experience coming from Lisa because she's making sure I stay on track. And that is where these are coming from. And again, focusing on what you need to know, not the fluffy bunny, what you want to hear.
And if you're new to pick a card readings, basically they're really simple. We have 3 piles. You just pick
which one you'd like.
Whichever one you're drawn to.
Our toilet roll, our toilet monster, or our friend the log, who, again, to remind everyone, we will not explain why he's there.
And we will have timestamps down below so you can click on whatever reading you were drawn to. And if you need more time, feel free to pause the video.
Focus on which one most resonates with you, the toilet roll, the toilet monster, or the log.
Or whichever one just keeps grabbing your attention the most.
We are in discussions for the possibility of a theme that's a little less gross, but hey, who knows?
Well, we've kind of attached you to toilet paper in all of our minds. So
I'm attached to toilet paper.
Yeah.
I'm stuck with the
I'm stuck with
okay.
References.
So we are going to get started. Take a moment to decide which pile resonates with you. Watch them all. Watch the one that you like the best. And again, would love to hear your comments, your thoughts, and your perspectives, whether you agree or disagree with the readings, whether you would have read it differently. I would just love to know. So leave your comments below. And we are, oops, that guy stays here. We are going to get started right now. Okay. So we are starting with, Lisa's going to remind me of the decks because this is one of hers that I've borrowed.
This is the Halloween Oracle.
That's the Halloween Oracle. This is the Tower Takeover Tarot. And because this deck has a very specific set of meanings that it has their own meanings, we will be reading these ones as we go. This one is the Zombie Tarot.
Yep.
And this one is, these last two are from the Halloween Tarot.
Good memory, babe.
I think the box isn't here. I guess I did do that one from memory.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So in the first reading here, we have the very first card. The oracle card here is the Spider, Community, and Web Weaving. So in the guide, this one of the things about this is talking about building up your community, and also remembering that when you build a community and a web, they're similar, but you have to remember that when you're building your web, to not get stuck in it yourself. So this is about making sure that you're building connections and not entrapments. And also being aware of how you are interacting within the community, within this web that you are trying to build. So with that in mind, with the concept of web building community in mind, moving forward to the Ace of Cups, and Lisa's going to read that one out for us.
So Ace of Cups in the Tower takeover. Your subconscious and conscious are having trouble connecting. The 5 streams of water representing... I was wondering why you were putting your boobs in my direction. I just didn't realize it's because the microphone is clipped to you. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like...
I turned.
She's literally aiming her boobs at me.
I turned so the microphone is facing you. She's dying over you.
Sorry. I just finally figured out what you were doing.
You make them sound like I'm stuffing them in your face.
I wouldn't be complaining. I'm just saying. Okay, anyways, let's get back to this. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
This segue was brought to you by It's Late, the time we're recording this. Okay.
That's your excuse this time.
Yep. Your subconscious and conscious are having trouble. She just aimed her boobs at me again.
Are we starting this one over?
No! I'm going to start the reading part over, but we're going to leave this in because people will love it. Okay. They love it when we're stupid.
I hope you guys love it because all I'm doing is turning. So she gave me a clip-on mic, so I'm turning so it picks up her voice, and she's accusing me of like shoving cleavage in her face.
Okay.
I'm the one that's trying to behave this time.
Okay, Tower takeover terror. We're going to give you your reading, I promise. Your subconscious and conscious are having trouble connecting. The 5 streams of water representing your 5 senses have spilled, and you will be disoriented as a result. Be careful who you open to about your feelings before you sort them out yourself. Don't misinterpret temporary lusts for deep love.
Okay.
Okay. Back on track.
So, again, within the context of, again, building community is an awesome thing. Web weaving as building those interconnections is an awesome thing. Not entrapping, not such an awesome thing. And the Ace of Cups, and again, this is the Tower Takeover Tarot where every card is a tower. This is your tower experience of the Ace of Cups. So this is your risk. And this is, the main takeaway for me is don't mistake lust for love. And in the context of a single card trying to define your entire experience, you've got to remember is that it's not necessarily romantic. It could be. This could be exactly. You're trying to reach out and make connections so that you can have a romantic relationship. It's just about, but don't mistake lust for love. Don't mistake being super excited to meet a new person for this person's going to be my BFF for the rest of my life, or my boyfriend, or my husband, or my soulmate.
Like overvaluing the relationship.
Yes, don't value the relationship. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but don't overvalue the relationship to the point where you harm the relationship, harm yourself, harm the other person, and or all the way through that. Now the next card is the Strength card. And this is about trusting your instincts. It's also about resolve and conviction. And in the typical tarot card, this would be the girl holding the lion. And in most images, you would see her hand in her mouth. That's how much she...
And in the lion's mouth, not in her own.
Yes, her hand in the lion's mouth. I'm sorry. And so she's got strengths. She knows who she is. She trusts the lion trusts her. And it's because there's the trusting of instincts. So trust your instincts. And it's just because you've met somebody, it doesn't mean, oh my God, it's horrible. They're a horrible person. But it's like, trust your instincts. If your instinct is to slow down, slow down. If your instinct is, this person is a really awesome person, but I want this person to be my BFF. Don't be in such a hurry that you ignore your instincts to take your time, go slow, get to know the person. Or you could torpedo an amazing friendship relationship before it even begins. The next 2 cards are, again, from the Halloween Tarot. And this is I think
when we
laid them out properly, we double checked to lay them out properly. So this is the actual order. So the 4 of Pumpkins is the 4 of Pentacles, and that's about holding on to resources. Now, in a lot of readings, you will find this card positioned as hoarding. In this particular reading about trusting your instincts and don't be in such a hurry that you don't mistake lust for love. Don't be so quick to act. Ignoring how you interact. So this would be about not necessarily hoarding your resources, but don't be so quick to throw everything into something. Don't be, and again, this goes back to not being in a hurry. You've got the strength. You're fine. You have got what you need so that taking it slow, not being in a hurry, holding back something of yourself so that you can just take your time with it and not just throw everything. You don't go in all in on the first day or on the first date or on the first play date or visit or whatever, however these relationships that you're looking for are going to play out. And the last card here is the King of Bats, and this is about intellect and strategy. And again, when you combine strength with intellect, you're really looking.
King of Bats, by the way, is King of Swords for anybody who doesn't know.
Yes, King of Swords. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
So this is about intellect and strategy. Like, you know what you shoung be doing. You're smart enough to know what to do and how to do it. So don't be so gung ho that you end up mistaking lust for love. That you end up building a community and a web, and then getting stuck in it because you've
bashing the camera.
I'm bashing the camera stand. So this is not a bad reading. This is not a reading that says you can't have the things that you want. This is a reading that says don't try to get them all today. Take your time. Use your strength. Use your intellect. Don't keep some of your resources back. Don't go all in all at once. Just take your time. Take your time. You know what you need from a relationship, be it whether it's friendship or romantic. So just do that. Do that and don't worry about it. Because if it is the wrong situation, the wrong person, the wrong thing, then it's going to be a lot easier to disentangle and avoid becoming entrapped and move on to healthier things. Now this is the second one. This is for anybody who chose our little toilet monster, the gray one this time, not the green one. I think we took the green one last time, didn't we? I can't remember. Anyway, this is about eternal love. Love is love, and it transcends physical death. So again, this is about the other one was about building community and not necessarily related to building loving personal relationships. This one is about building those. I kicked the thing again. This one is about building those loving personal relationships, and it is something you either want in your life, or you're looking for in your life. Maybe you have it in your life, and you're just thinking. Maybe you're reevaluating a current relationship, or you're looking for a new relationship, but you're in a position where the soulmate kind of love, those deep kinds of love, are really on your mind a lot right now, or at least they will be. I mean, these readings are good for a month. They have a 1 month shelf life.
They expire after 30 days.
Yeah, but they expire.
Whenever you see this, it's your month ahead. There you go.
It's a month ahead. So this is something that's going to come up at some point for some of the month, part of the month, all of the month. I mean, that's your experience, but this is definitely something that you're going to be dealing with, looking at. I think, and I do sense that this is something you're going to be intellectually or emotionally examining, not necessarily something that you're going to be doing. So the next card is the Page of Wands, and Lisa is going to read again. This is a Tower Takeover Tarot, and so it has its own specific meanings, which Lisa's going to read that now.
Unexpected challenges can demolish even the most calculated plan. Okay, if you want to know why I'm laughing, you have to go watch pile number 1 and then come back to us here. Okay.
She can't handle microphones. They scare her.
Unexpected challenges can demolish even the most calculated plans. When starting out on a new adventure, stay flexible to the possibilities of unforeseen events. Plans can be altered and adapted to new environments and circumstances. Use the last bit of your energy to be creative when faced with these new challenges. Okay, so, and again, combined with this, so you're going to be looking at some challenges where love is concerned, where the idea of romantic love is concerned, and those challenges. I'm just going to stutter now. So basically, your job here is to be creative and be flexible, and also not be drawn into those stereotypes, and that can be a thing that really trips a lot of us up, because we say, oh, if you're in love, it should look like this, it should feel like this, it should do this, it should do that. If you're in a relationship, it's like, oh, well, I should feel like this all the time. A relationship should look like that all the time. This should always happen in my relationship. This should never happen in my relationship. If any of this is starting to sound familiar to you, then that's why you picked this pile. Wow.
So the next, okay.
No, that's fair. It's a fair thing to say.
I'm not trying to crap on a relationship that you do have or a relationship that you're pursuing. I'm just saying that a lot of times we get hung up in what we think it should look like, that we stop appreciating what it is.
That's super valid.
Okay, so the next card, now this one here is the Knight of Hazards. This is the Knight of Pentacles. And this person is ambitious. This person's an entrepreneur. They're reliable, but they're also deliberate. They also just smashed into that pole. I don't know if you can see this. So this is somebody who's got a lot of really good qualities, but they're not perfect. And this is this kind of goes back to the previous two cards. You are in this situation, like maybe you're with somebody that you are really second guessing whether or not they were a good partner for you, and maybe they are, maybe they're not. That's your decision to make. But at the end of the day, it's balancing that between what you want versus what's realistic versus what they are offering versus what they can offer, what they should, because it's never easy. It is never this two eyes meet across a crowded room and everything's perfect forever kind of thing. So this is your Knight of Pentacles has some really, really good qualities, but they also can be a little careless. I mean, the guy hit a post. So it's just reminding you that nobody's perfect. That's really all that is. Nobody's perfect. And I do think that this coming up in the middle like it did is this kind of trying to remind you of that. The next two cards are the Lovers. Now the Lovers card obviously is about deep connections and commitments. It's about finding love. Generally speaking, the Lovers doesn't have to be about romantic love, but in this particular reading, I'm assuming that it is. When I ran this past Lisa, she agreed that it was a fair interpretation.
Yep.
So I'm going with that. But I mean, again, look at this card. He's a vampire, and she's going to be draining of blood in a few minutes, and yet for whatever reason, this is what works for them. So. Okay, this goes
seems dysfunctional AF. I'm just gonna say.
Okay, but this goes back to something else that you said this goes back to something that you say all the time, and that is do not judge yourself by somebody else's highlight reel.
Yeah, don't judge your bloopers by
if this works for you, then fuck them. And if this doesn't work for you, then we're moving on to the Eight of Ghosts, and that is the Eight of Cups. And this is about in the Eight of Cups, you can see, and I'm going to lift the card again. In the Eight of Cups, you can see that in spite of being emotionally invested in the little ghosties around him, that's usually how the Eight of Cups is depicted. It's something that they want. Wanted. They're turning their back and they're walking away. So this is about walking away from something that you have previously been emotionally invested in. And in this case, it could literally be one extreme or the other, either walking away from a relationship that's no longer serving you, or based on the context of how I'm seeing this reading so far, I think it's mostly for most of you, if I could talk, I think for most people it is going to be more about walking away from your own beliefs, your own thoughts and feelings about what constitutes a perfect relationship.
Oh, I love that. I think that's a great interpretation.
Because I think for most of us, okay, like you and I both, okay, for anybody who's not familiar with the channel itself, my wife Lisa and I are a married couple. Yes, we're gay. Deal with it. And
wow.
So, okay, most
what the hell?
Okay, the people who know and love us have dealt with it a long time ago. They're not offended. Trust me. Please don't be offended. Anyway.
Jesus.
But no, when we've been married for 15 years now. We just celebrated our 15th wedding anniversary, and there are things that we have had to
a couple months now.
But no, over the last 15 years, there are expectations that we have had to let go.
True.
There's new expectations that we've been able to embrace.
True.
Because if you are looking strictly at the absolute stereotype of, I'm an awesome person, I deserve a perfect 10 with a perfect job, with a perfect career,
I am a perfect 10.
You're
deal
awesome.
with it.
You're amazing. Yeah, I'll deal with it. No, the thing is we often, and second guessing. It's like, oh gee, I wonder if we'd done, and we do this together as a couple, and I know that we've had conversations. It's like, oh well, if we had done this together as a couple, this would be better for us now.
Sure. Yeah.
This sort of thing. It's very, very easy to second guess a relationship that you're in, and it's very, very easy to form unrealistic expectations of the relationships that you want.
Truth. Or even of unrealistic ones of the ones you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is not a negative reading, but I do think this isn't a negative reading. You are going to have a reason to think about that.
But also check yourself, it sounds like.
And I don't
a little bit.
well,
check your expectations.
For some of you, this could be like check yourself, and for other people, it's like, yeah, just give some thought to are you expecting too much? Are you offering too little? You don't know. But obviously the reason why you're thinking about this is because there's something going on in your life that could lead to something. For most of you, I think. Number 3, the log. We're going to have Lisa read the Page of Cups in a moment. This is a pretty self-evident one, and it says it right on the card. Unnecessary fear, the graveyard. So you're going to be seeing some unnecessary fear, and you may think it's a necessary fear. You may be. We're gonna go over the cards, and I'll explain to you. I will explain the things to you, but just give me a second. Okay. So So if you have picked the log, you're just gonna giggle every time I say log, aren't you?
Probably.
Okay. So if you have picked the log, you are going to be dealing with unnecessary fear. Something's going to happen. It's going to scare the crap out of you, and figuratively, literally, emotionally.
You just said scare the crap out of you. Was that
intentional? That was not intentional, but you can giggle anyway. Okay, so something's going to happen. Unnecessary fears, unnecessary anxieties, and this is your opportunity / invitation to explore that, acknowledge that, and maybe walk away from that fear. So we are going to move on to the Page of Cups, and again, Tower Takeover Tarot. I usually take 3 tries to say that. Anyway, Lisa's going to read the meaning of that because this is a particular deck with its own particular meanings.
You may feel overwhelmed when you're offered. Can't do it. See pile number 1 for the ridiculousness. Okay. You may feel overwhelmed when your opportunities seem stifled by others. The curiosity and wonder in the beginning of an adventure is a precious thing, so try not to let setbacks steal that from you. Outside circumstances influence your path, but they don't control you. Pick yourself back up and stay optimistic.
Okay. So for this one, I'm going to skip this card for a second and go straight to the Magician, because this card is from the Zombie Tarot.
Why you have me read it if you're going to skip it?
So I can ignore you.
Fine.
Okay. This is about not listening to other people's fear-mongering. Honestly. I mean, this is unnecessary fear, and the best way to scare the crap out of yourself is to believe other people when they tell you you should be scared. And that's really where this is at. Like, and again, this is the Tower experience. If you listen to other people's fear-mongering, if you let other people decide for you what you should be afraid of, then you are headed straight for a Tower experience. Because obviously, if you're afraid of something, if you are afraid of something that you really shouldn't be afraid of, and then it's just going to go all to hell, right? Now, this card here, the Magician, is from a particular deck called the Zombie Tarot, and the Zombie Tarot focuses on the negative meaning of the Magician, which is about being deceptive, manipulative. So, okay, guys, just a quick drink of water break, so I had to turn it off for a minute so I didn't die of coughing. Okay, so basically the Magician is, in this particular card, which is a Zombie Tarot, focuses a lot on the more negative aspects, just because of the card, but I think I'm also going to focus on the negative aspect because of the nature of this particular reading. We're looking at unnecessary fears, people manipulating you to prey on your fear, increase your fear. They want you to be afraid. And it's not necessarily, the funny thing is that it's not necessarily malicious. If I'm afraid of heights, then I'm going to tell you don't go up that elevator. I'm afraid of heights.
That's a good example.
So it doesn't necessarily mean the person who is advocating that you should be afraid has your worst interest in heart. But the Magician here, now, the Magician in the position of being a manipulator versus a manifester, like the Magician has all the tools he needs to manifest what he wants, but he can also manipulate other people for good or for bad. And I do think that I do think you need to take a closer look at the person, the situation, the reasoning. Somebody somewhere may not have you. Okay, so some people can be giving you advice that makes you afraid, or telling you that I'd be afraid if I were you, because they think they're helping you. But there's possibly the possibility of some more malicious energy at work here. Like,
Like a shit disturber kind of thing?
Well, yeah, like, okay, like what if I know that there's a prize waiting at the top of the tower, but I'm afraid of heights, so I tell you, well, don't go up that elevator, it's dangerous. Elevators are dangerous. Elevators are dangerous. And somebody else who is not afraid of heights goes, yeah, don't go up the elevator, it's dangerous, because they know that if they can talk you into staying on the ground, they can go to the top instead and get the prize.
Got it.
So, I mean, that's a pretty juvenile example, but I think it makes the point, at least I hope it does. So, something's going on in your world that you really don't need to be scared of, but for one reason or another, there are people who think you should be afraid of it. And there may be one or more person who may be in a position to benefit from your fear. And I think that it's really important to you right now that and there might be nobody, but be aware that there are factors where it may not be, there may be people around you regarding this situation who may not have your best interest at heart and are willing to take advantage of the situation to, maybe you're going to apply for a promotion and everybody is telling you, oh, I'd be scared of that. I don't want to do that. I don't think you should do it. And somebody else is going, yeah, you shouldn't do that because they're going to apply instead.
So be on your guard, kind of.
Be on your guard. And it doesn't necessarily have to be malicious. Somebody thinking that they can benefit and that they're doing you no harm. It's like, well, I'm not hurting them by suggesting this and I'll get something out of it, so it's okay. It's not necessarily somebody that's twirling their mustache while you're tied to the train tracks. It's not like that. Okay, so the next two cards are the Six of Bats and the Eight of Bats. These are respectively the Six of Swords and the Eight of Swords. And this is about, the Six of Swords is about retreating, regrouping. You've just suffered the defeat of the Five of Swords. So now this is telling you to go find a safe place, get out of the way, sort out your shit, come back, try again. Let's focus on come back, try again. This is, think of a new way, think of a new solution. And the Eight of Swords, I'm doing these together because these kind of seem to make sense to me. The Eight of Swords is about being overwhelmed and surrounded. And I think this is kind of representing a choice or a possibility, because if you do not take a step back to look at what's going on around you, and to go, well, this person's saying this thing to me that's freaking me out, but they are wrong because, or they are only speaking about their experience, which has nothing to do with what I'm doing, or they are hoping to benefit from holding me back, or whatever. And again, these it sounds like these two are both going to be at play. And again, sometimes the magician isn't necessarily always malicious, but sometimes he's more so busy thinking about what's good for himself that he's not necessarily even aware that what he's doing is harmful to you. So you're looking at a potentially huge range of motivations to why people are contributing to your fear. So take a step back. I'm afraid of this. Why am I afraid of this? How much of this is me and how much of this is them? Because if you don't do that, If you don't do that, then you will be going straight to the Eight of Bats, the Eight of Swords, which is being overwhelmed, surrounded. It's just going to make life worse for you if you don't. Whatever's going on is going to actually screw you over. If you don't sort out what's going on in the top row, you're going to get screwed over in the bottom row. Just take the time, think about what's going on. And be aware that it's going to be very easy right now. You may already be frustrated and overwhelmed at what's going on, but take the step back, reevaluate what's going on, reverse your steps, and start over. Because a lot of the things that are freaking you out right now, a lot of things that are scaring you right now and freaking you out about whatever this situation is unnecessary and being driven by external forces. And that is it for number 3. And again, if you like the reading, if it resonates with you, I would love to hear from you. If your interpretation is different, I'd love to hear that. I'm still on a learning curve. If there's things about this that you don't agree with, I'd love to hear that. I'd love to have the conversation, for good or for bad. That is that. So this has been me taking over Lisa's channel yet again for a hijack. Yeah, well, you didn't mind. This is me taking over Lisa's channel again for yet another pick a card reading where I tell you what you need to hear without any thoughts or concern to what you want to hear. And I hope that you have found some use, some benefit, something helpful that will help improve your day, your week, your month. And If you like it, then click the thumbs up, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. And I will see you soon. And may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye.
Bye, guys.